we're going to kick off because I want to eventually I want Morris to wake up and meet Molly, but he's farting and snoring right now.
He's not a dog person.
Molly's not a dog person. Well, Morris isn't a dog person. Morris likes people more than dogs, which is
She loves kids. She doesn't take
Yeah.
up. I think kids are fine as long as they're over there. But yeah, no.
That's funny. We've got people tuning in from Georgia, Perth, Nova Scotia, New York, Connectopia.
Connectopia. These are my people.
Yeah, great. All right. Well, let's kick off. We got Shauna from Kansas, and Instagram follow Amsterdam. Margaret. Hey, Margaret. Margaret had a great comment in the latest post that I want to talk about with you. Before I do, I want to introduce you. So welcome. Okay. So this is the 30th one of these, I think. This is Draw Me Anything. I'm Jason Chatfield. Hi, everybody who this is their first time on the show. I'm a cartoonist and a comedian in New York City. I'm from Australia. That's why I sound like I just had a mild stroke. This is my friend. We go way back. One of my favorite people, certainly one of my favorite cartoonists that I've known for a very long time. Alex Hallatt. Welcome, Alex.
Thank you very much. It's really funny hearing people say my whole name because it was only late in life I realized it's a bit of a mouthful. It doesn't really work, Alex Hallatt. Alexander Hallatt.
Sure, Alexander Hallatt sounds like someone who invented some kind of machine.
Yeah, it's not good. But I mean, it's great to write it down. And luckily, most people don't meet me for real. They just be written down, and then they also assume I die, which in my early cartooning career was a real plus. So,
well, you've had an interesting journey because when we met, it was back in. I think I was actually living in Perth at the time because we met at the Stanley Awards. I was starting out as a cartoonist, and so were you. You had come off you were a scientist, really, that had become a cartoon that had started.
Yes, it was quite. Yeah, because I think I'd just moved to New Zealand.
That's right.
And we met in Sydney, and
it was Sydney.
James Kemsley, who was doing Ginger Megs at the time, he became a bit of a mentor to me, and I met him there at that Stanley's, I think. So
that's where I met him too. I think we met him at the same time. And I think there's
you took on the mantle. You took on his comic that had been many Australian cartoonists' comic beforehand. You took on Ginger, which was quite a responsibility.
It was, but it was why you and I are connected because we're on the same page for literally on the same page on the same comics page.
And in newspapers. When there were newspapers, it was fun.
Newspapers. And when I was in Melbourne, I remember reading Arctic Circle. Arctic Circle is Alex's strip. Everybody, it's a brilliant strip, largely centered around environmental issues, but also other things. You use it as a conduit to discuss a lot of different things.
I think probably the things that are worrying us most in modern life, which is the environment, which has been worrying me since I was 7 and never stopped, and then of course now AI. I've been writing about that. Yes, but
Well, it was always a great format for discussing pretty much whatever was, the largest existential threat at any given point in time.
But I think with newspaper comics now, you sort of feel like you're shouting into the void, don't you? I mean, because you don't get the immediate feedback. So I know that I read and connect with my comic, but it's not like putting things, on Substack, for example. Maybe that more, I don't know, but yes. Anyway, this is lethal. We're never going to talk about everything.
Well, I'm gonna try and keep it on rails because we could go for hours.
I'll drink.
When you went, I would think I was reading you as a daily in the Age. I want to say I remember. I think Lynn Johnson's strip, For Better or for Worse, just vanished one day, and the Age was like it had like a blank strip in there, and I remember going, "Oh, what are they gonna put in there?" And I think you ended up in there, right?
Yeah, that was definitely before I knew what I was doing. So obviously,
Be a good thing.
I keep waiting. Oh, King Features. I hope no one from King Features is watching this, because I keep waiting for someone to find me out and go, she's not a syndicated cartoon.
Get out of here. No, Brendan Burford is a friend of both of us. Brendan
Oh,
has a great eye
yeah,
eye for cartoonists.
he couldn't make it for this one. But yes, he loves you too.
Brendan's one of the great. There are three people in this world to whom I turn for anything cartoon related. That they just have an encyclopedic, almost savant level knowledge of cartooning and comics. One of them is Brendan Burford, and then the other one for New Yorker related and gag related cartoons is Ellis J. Rosen, and sometimes Michael Maslin. And then the other one is. I want to say Jenny Robb from the Billy Island Cartoon Museum and Library. Honorable mention to Brian Walker and Caitlin McGurk. But yeah.
See, you've got yourself into major trouble, because once you start reeling off names like that, where do you stop?
But some of them are just like wired for it.
More Gerberg.
Sure. Yeah. He's a bottomless font of information too.
He wrote a cartoon which a lot of cartoonists, had as their Bible, the cartooning the art and the business.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I read through that until it started falling apart.
I still have it here. I have 3 different editions. Mort Gerber. Anyone who's interested in cartooning at all, cartooning the art and the business.
It's still good. Yeah,
it still works. The opening chapters about why cartoons are such an effective medium visually still hold up.
I was thinking, so it was that book I was thinking about as I was, once I realized that AI was going to get really good, really fast at doing what I do, I thought, geez, what would I do if I was starting today? That book, yes, it's a start, but it doesn't tell you everything you need to do to be able to make a living at cartooning now.
It did when it was published.
Which is why I started the Substack about cartooning in the age of AI. Okay, I'm figuring this out now. Let's figure this out together. This is what's happening with AI. We can't put our heads in the sand. It's not going away. No one's going to legislate it, out of existence. This is bigger than the internet.
It is.
It's not going away. It's a juggernaut. And unfortunately, the American economy is now completely dependent on AI succeeding, right? And I think the UK is similar. So we have to cartoon in the age of AI, and figure out what works. And I think that Maggie DeHere, she has an opinion about this. My opinion is, unless we do it ourselves personally, we're not going to survive. I don't think working for anyone else is going to work anymore.
I tend to agree. And I'm sad about that. Not because I'm a traditionalist or I think you and I came up in the same paradigm where, as a cartoonist, the way to, have a career was to get published in magazines and newspapers, get syndicated and get commissions from ad agencies or, magazines to do covers or to do ads, or, there was this sort of ecosystem. And certainly there were hierarchies, and there was merit and non-merit based sort of ways of working. Where it was who you know in some cases, but for the most part, there was a stable for decades. It was a fairly consistent path or industry. And I remember Sam Gross saying to me that, since the 70s, they've been saying, well, it's the death of cartooning. Every time something comes in, it's the death of cartooning. But in this case, with AI, and the reason I want to talk to you today is not only because I absolutely love cartooning in the age of AI. Anyone who hasn't subscribed to that already, anyone watching who hasn't subscribed to Alex's Substack called Cartooning in the, it's a you have your illustrated epistle, but then you also have Cartooning in the Age of AI. I love it. I can't get enough of it. I share it with a lot of people every time I read it. the thing I like about it is that you have a scientist's mind. You're a cartoonist with a scientist's brain. And one of the great things about all my favorite cartoonists is they do something else. They're cartoonists, but they have another area of expertise. And it's a really interesting way that you've approached this, because you've approached it like a problem that not needs solving, but needs figuring out in the way that a scientist's brain does.
Yeah, it's like, how does this work? How do we use this? Let's, is that going to work? No, that didn't work. Okay, let's get on to the next thing. The problem, it's a problem, is that the AI is changing. It's not, what I'm writing now is probably not going to apply to the same extent, a couple of years' time. There are a few things that I think are evergreen, because anything that's going to work for us is about us being more human, making connections. Hello, everybody from the New York Times connections puzzle. Making connections with like-minded people. And so finding community, I mean, honestly, I think, yes, I'm 25 years into a professional cartooning career, and I'm only now just working out how to do this, and I don't just mean in terms of technique, because I think you can always get better, and also, you can be like Randall Munro, and you can just be doing stick figures, right? So. Sure. Not necessarily the drawing, but it is about how you find your audience. And it always has been, and I think that I care about people and the planet and being authentic. I hate fakery, like any kind of fakery, and so AI is fake. And I just think I'm doing this now at exactly the right time. This is my time where I get to be authentic and care. I care about people, and so that's kind of what I'm doing.
Yeah, well, that comes out in your work. I mean, Arctic Circle is very much a testament to the fact that you actually give a shit about people, and it's a larger,
and the plan. Not great for like a US, primarily US syndicated comic.
Yeah, it's screaming into the void there, but it does feel like, some people can be fatalists and some people can be nihilists or even anarchists, but you really do have this sense of there's a sense of hope that, it's the community, it's our collective humanity that will be the thing that gets us through any problem. And that's something that really, that's been a thread throughout a lot of your work, I've noticed. It's sort of an underlying, you're a realist, but you're not a nihilist. You really do think that we can figure this out.
Oh, that's interesting, because I think I have been, not a nihilist, but I have been, I don't know, just fed up of things.
Oh, sure.
Well, because okay, right.
That's a motivating factor of why you do what you do.
There's not many. Most of my stuff is still in storage, because I'm
in transit.
Yeah, but right, this quite a thick book of mine, right? The book
of this, yes, I've read this. The annoying humans that you culled, yes.
Yes. It's all about, it's still environmental, because it was about making the world a better place, because there's just too many people in the world, right? So I want to make the world a better place by painlessly removing all the annoying people. But I was doing that for Go Comics. I was doing it, I think, 3 times a week. And actually, in the end, I had to give it up because it just really started to affect me, because I was looking for the worst in people.
Right, of course, yeah.
A comic about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so which is why I then started doing Reasons to be Cheerful.
Yeah.
To the opposite, and go, you know what? There's so many great things in the world, right?
Very Steven Pinker-esque, very sort of enlightenment now.
Now, yes, exactly, like the plastic mind and all of that. Yeah, the plastic. But and so much of that is dogs. So
yeah, same.
I think we're doing well there, except both of our dogs have deserted us. But yeah, no, there's still a lot of great stuff, and that's the other thing that we're seeing a change with social media, and I think unfortunately a lot of that has become very negative. And then people talk about mainstream media. Well, And I think that mainstream media was so much focused on if it bleeds, it leads, and just leading with, the worst stories, that people went to social media, and then what did they find? Even worse stories, because not that people really want to be reading worse stories, but because it brought more engagement. And so, so then those posts got boosted, so started arguing, then it got boosted. And, this is why we're here now, why I hardly use Facebook, why when I saw Substack, I went, oh, this is almost a meritocracy,
Almost.
It's right. Well, the feed has changed, and I'm not particularly happy about that. And I think also there's still this drive to post more, put up more content, then you'll be rewarded. And that causes artists to burn out and actually to not do the work that they really should be doing. Right. So, so that's a question for you.
Well, actually,
you are now on Substack and working like a crazy thing. And I want to know, have you cloned yourself? Not me. I mean, how do you do all this stuff? How are you interviewing me and not doing something more important instead?
Right after this, I have a number of things that I have to do. I have a number of different tasks that I have to do, including an illustration for the Metropolitan Review, which is going to come out later this week. I'm teasing.
Oh, I loved your piece about I won't remember his name.
Gates Elise, yeah.
Oh my goodness, that was
so good.
That beautiful illustrations that were just right,
That was art directed by Lou Bahit. It was one of those great sort of moments of just like, what would really elevate this thing would be just some like hand drawn things. I did them all with dip pen and ink. It was really nice to dig in. Well, I had a question. I'm going to answer your question. I truly am. But LJ Anderson has a question for Alex. How much time / what percentage do you spend daily on comics, business, marketing, PR, record keeping related tasks versus actual cartooning? Has AI changed that? If so, by how much? Like, are you using AI to automate some of the drudgery of admin?
Yeah, no, I wish. I think, unfortunately, I don't know whether you found this, but especially because AI is changing a lot at the moment, what it does is expand the amount of work you have to do.
Yep.
Because you suddenly go, oh, now I can do that. So whereas before you just wouldn't have done that because I don't get AI to do the drawing or AI to do the writing, but I get AI to write my blurbs, the marketing blurbs for Amazon. So whereas before I would have put up some substandard marketing blurb, now I'm spending far too much time with an AI gets uploading my book to it, and then it writes a much better blurb, but then it's not perfect, so I have to go in and edit it, and and I'm just sort of finessing things that I should probably just let go to a certain extent. I think carry on.
Just on that point, back in I want to say the 60s, the 50s or 60s, the introduction of an affordable washing machine. I remember this was like a big deal in households. Vacuum cleaners and washing machines was a really big thing where as soon as it was sort of introduced that everyone ought to have a washing machine in their house as just like a standard thing that everyone just has it. It may even be earlier than this, I think. But they thought, oh, well, it'll free you up to do so many things. And then what inevitably happened was that people just got busier because now this thing is automated and it created all of this. What's the thing about the things filling the gap that is the void that is created by automating something else? It just gets filled by something else, like water filling a hole in the sand. It's just it didn't give anyone more time. All it did was made them busier.
I think, and I mean, I don't know about you and your friends, but I find that my friends now, I mean, they should be sort of slowing down, but they seem to have less time than we had. I'm 55. They have less time in their 50s than they had in their 40s, and yet their kids if they have kids, the kids are independent, or if they don't have kids, they should be slowing down. And you just why? Oh, it's because all the streaming services, all the stuff on our phone, like there are things that have filled those gaps, and that's the other thing that I'm trying to do, to you know to simplify more, to make.
Yes.
I I like I like little things. I don't want to be working like massively to have a big house and a big car and a lot of stuff, So I'm buying. I'd like to buy a tiny house, but the UK rules don't really allow it. So I'm getting a bungalow, and then I'm going to try and have the existence of a tiny house in my bungalow,
Nice.
which I'll then document, because content. That's just for Margaret. That's
Because content, yeah.
yeah, because, um, but yeah, I want, I want to do less but better.
Yeah, well, that's so. The answer to your question is that there's two books that I read: Essentialism and Digital Minimalism, Cal
Mhm.
Newport, and both of those encouraged me to, instead of spreading myself so thin across so many different areas, focus 80/20 the whole thing. Just focus on the things that are delivering the highest ROI, but also delivering the most joy per minute you spend on them. So if you really do find it kind of annoying and it's drudgery to like work on a tablet all the time on a Cintiq, and you really actually find more joy with hand drawn stuff, pen and ink, then you can kind of reframe or just like refocus things around that, the doing of the thing that brings you the joy, instead of the finishing of the thing that gives you a
and
little spark of dopamine and then it dips
and
down.
getting will be rewarded for that now, because just as musicians after Spotify have had to go back to playing live and
Mm.
with their audiences, now artists are, not being forced to, but I think that the artists who survive this digital AI onslaught will
Mhm.
be who, have a certain amount of non-digital work, and in person is going to be more important, as well. And so you've been able to do all of that, although you do in-person events digitally. But I was horrified to see that people were lining up to get the AI generated caricature.
Yeah, they were. I was, for anyone who didn't see that, I was at an event. I've been doing live caricatures for over 20 years now, and I do them at events, at weddings, at corporate functions and
I do.
conferences, and
I hate that. Glad you
it's
do.
the worst. Truly, it's not. I mean, it's not great work. It can be fun. There's some good gigs, but you've got to love it to do it. And I don't love it, so I don't do it all the time. But I do it, and it is something that for the longest time I thought, well, this is the last thing that AI will be able to replace: the in-person, interactive. Hey, I can see you and I can draw you. And I was at an event in Chelsea here in New York City for Google of all things, and yeah, they had a booth. They had me sitting there with a digital tablet, sketching people and then printing out the things. My drawing was connected up to a big screen so people could see me drawing. And then they also just had a booth where people could stand in front of it. It would take a photo, then AI would spit out a little thing of them, a little cartoon of them as an android, and there was a line for that. It's just like, I'm like, all right, that's novel. I get it. It's interesting. It's new. Hopefully there's a curve on that. There's like a you know.
I think now I would just point to something like Snapchat,
Sure.
and how novel that was. And for a while, certain friends and family, yeah, I'm looking at you, Steph, were sending me pictures of them like as dogs,
Mhm.
rabbits,
Mhm.
whatever, or as each other. That was weird. Yeah, through Snapchat, and it was. And where is it now? I don't know. Is it, or maybe it is a thing. It could be a real thing. I don't
Yeah, yeah.
know, but I,
I mean, you and I have talked about this a little bit before, and it's the thing that is the common thread between artists when we talk about AI and what we're going to do to survive. Because the piece that I just published last night, that Illustrators was based on several things, including the state of the industry report that came out in, I think, August, which is for the illustration industry at large, but then also Creator Boom, and they do a combination of studying the different reports and then just going out and getting anecdotal, feedback. But the pattern has been pretty resoundingly consistent, which is there was maybe one or two people who were like, oh, it's weird that I'm booked solid for the rest of the year. They're doing children's books. That's the big one. Is illustrators doing children's books are getting a lot of work right now, and graphic novel adaptations. The other piece to it was the fact that, as you just said, the human element, the handmade, physical, tangible piece of art element, not the digital, not the, intangible NFT style, the actual doing of the thing made by hands with imperfections in it and possibly mistakes. You want to hope that the AI, the novelty of AI and the fad of AI, that in the way that, as I think Maggie just mentioned, the fad of like everyone making a Barbie AI of themselves in a box, they just kind of go through cycles, and they and then people get the fatigue of the slop, and then they come back around. The problem with this sort of idea, as I was kind of banking on this, so was my landlord, but I was really hanging out for this to be the snapback that we're all kind of waiting for, that elastic band kind of slowly pulling, all right, how long until it snaps? The problem with it is that while we're waiting out that fatigue that people will have, in that time, the amount of destruction and the amount of damage done in the form of, artists not pursuing this anymore as a vocation, of young people not even seeing it as a potential thing that they could even use as an outlet, even not professionally, just as a hobby. I think that damage will be so profound that what we'll be left with is this sort of sliver where it's all of a sudden this sort of handmade thing is like a prestige, offering, and it's very rare, and there'll be a very small market for it.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that like a lot of jobs are just going away and will go away because of AI, and I don't know how that's going to be fixed. I listen to all sorts of financial podcasts and universal basic income. That's that. How do you pay for that if all the money's gone to the tech bros? Who are like little. We mustn't get off track on because I could go.
No, we can. I mean, we can. I did want to talk to you about AI and UBI for a second, because there was that experiment in Ireland, I think, where they did give those artists each, I think, I want to say it was like $1,000 a month or whatever it was, and they did it for 1 year.
Oh yeah.
And it was an experiment, and for the most part, in isolation, it had some pretty positive results, but it doesn't really scale.
No.
And if you read, I don't know if you ever read AI 2027, it's a long read, but worth it.
Oh God, I started and then deadlines.
Yeah, no, it gets very dense very quickly, but and it takes a long time to read. It's the War and Peace of AI. Basically, the piece in that timeline that really struck me was that after a certain point, the AI companies and the chip manufacturers and all these people are taxed to a degree such that there's a special allocation for UBI, as paid to the government and distributed through government to pay people, a universal basic income derived from the profits of these companies. And then those who invested in the companies are all very rich. They don't need UBI. There's thresholds. But it doesn't sustain over time, unfortunately. And then other people, the depth of despair index of sort of people not having a reason to get out of bed in the morning, not having a purpose, that kind of kills the whole theory.
Yeah, that's the more worrying thing. Because, I just sort of think about, all of this is kind of imaginary stuff, right? And there's like money is an imaginary stuff. And what really matters in life, which, especially as I get older, becomes more and more important. And it is community, it is connecting with people, and you keep coming back to connecting with people. And the problem with UBI is that it doesn't it doesn't give you anything meaningful. It doesn't, if you go out to work, then or if you stay in like us, to work, well, like me, to work, then you're connecting with people. If you're a games designer, you're creating work that connects with people, that, you get that feedback. But if you go into a job, into an office, as I did for a while, you make friends, and, I made friends for life. Well, what happens to young people who, unfortunately, because of their devices, they're not very good at connecting to people in real life, and they aren't forced to do it through their jobs, then, where is the meaning in their life? I think
And connection, yeah.
Yeah, UBI would have to be accompanied with something that maintains community, and I think, just as with the car, right? The car, I think, destroyed community by isolating people. I think that AI is destroying community, in a similar sort of way, because it just severs those connections that you have through meaningful work, as well as doing other damaging things.
Right, like remote work as well, being a factor of that.
Leading to AGI and wiping us all out.
So
Due to paper clips. I mean, whatever.
Yeah, paperclip extender. E.R. Flynn had in the comments, he's been thinking about this a lot as well. The analogy I think of is, how did artists survive in times of strife, like in Europe, World War II, or Czechoslovakia after the Soviets rolled in, or during the Great Depression. I think of people like Ronald Searle in World War II when he was a POW in Singapore. Talk about strife. They were doing it literally just for survival and mental health back then. But it was, I don't think... with respect, I think it's a false dichotomy, but it is. I mean, artists will always, and I've always said this, I've always maintained this: artists will always find a way, in a very Jurassic Park level. Art finds a way, but I just feel like, as far as actually sustaining a living as an artist, sustaining it as a job, this is the issue that I'm kind of thinking is. It's not that there was a void of, there was, those periods in human history were not devoid of art. In fact, some of the greatest paintings and pieces of art ever made came out of that. Those post-depression and post-World War times, and a lot of those artists were destitute. They didn't make any money until, long after they were dead. Their families made the money.
Yeah.
And I know Maggie here, who I will have you on, Maggie. I promise.
Yeah,
we will have these discussions.
Yeah, great.
And I think here's the moment for me, and then I'm going to stop talking for a bit because I'm talking too much. And I promise everyone, get your requests ready, because we are going to flip the cameras and draw very soon. I promise, for the next 20 minutes. The piece for me that keeps coming back is, do you remember when Garry Kasparov played Deep Blue and he had never lost a championship? And there was this moment, he got up and he started pacing, and it was clear that he was in trouble. And the moment that he resigned that game, it felt like man landing on the moon in some circles. It was like a very big deal that a narrow intelligence could beat a human at a thing. And a lot of AIs were designed around games. That was the whole point of building this narrow. AlphaGo, another example of like the Go version of Deep Blue. And then Watson was on Jeopardy, I think it was 2011, and beat the best Jeopardy contestants. And that was another moment. Like, it didn't start well. It actually kind of wasn't great to begin with, but eventually it just became exponentially better at the game and became unbeatable. I do feel like there is this moment now where those two events were very far apart comparatively. There is this exponential narrowing of these benchmark moments where the curve is just going up so fast that we don't have time nor the ability to comprehend, to fathom the compound interest of that intelligence explosion. And in the way that people say, if 50 years ago the example often given is, if we got a message from an alien life form millions of light years away, And they said, in 50 years, we will arrive on your planet. Get ready. That would galvanize the whole world. We would come together in a way that we'd never come together before, I think. I mean, let's ignore everything that happened during the pandemic. And I think with AI, like the environment, like climate change, it's so hard to keep track of it or to fathom the pace of it that we can't respond appropriately.
Yeah, we're not. I mean, as humans, unfortunately, we're still sort of tottering around with these historic brains. I mean, our brains were designed. We're designed. Our brains evolved for a world of maybe 10,000 years ago, you could say, but probably closer to 1,000,000 years ago. And we're just not really good at dealing with far future threats.
Right.
Even a near future threat, we've seen how it's accelerated. I mean, we thought smugly, as creative people, that we'd be the last to be, replaced. We're like, yeah, it's gonna come for the lawyers and the accountants first. Oh no,
nope.
Come for I don't think we're good at sort of dealing with that. Your alien analogy is interesting because there's quite a few people who are saying we shouldn't call this artificial intelligence. We should call this alien intelligence because that it is an alien intelligence, and if we think that we can deal with it as if it's a human intelligence, it's not. It's going to surpass. It's going to surpass us, and it's going to think in ways that we can't even imagine unless we use an AI to help us.
Well, yeah, even when it learns, it develops its own language to learn in, such that we can't even decipher the language that it's learning in or fathom the self-teaching. Yeah.
And apparently now it's working out ways that it can avoid being switched off.
Yeah, no, of course. It has self-protection mechanisms already, yeah.
Right.
In a lot of the models, yeah. I think so, not to be doomers here, and not to be doom and gloom, it does feel like we are at a very particular pivot point, a very definitive point in history. I know every generation has said this, but it does feel different now.
Oh, we're definitely special.
Yeah. It just, I don't know. There is a very definitive, a very particular feeling about it. And when I spoke to my grandfather, who died at 98, who saw everything from 1919 to like 20. Poppy, yeah.
Yeah.
He saw a lot of stuff in his lifetime. And the amount of technological change that he witnessed is extraordinary. But then each generation after him also has exponentially seen more and more and more change, such that to adapt to it has been harder because it's been implemented so quickly.
Yeah,
I think. But here we are trying to power on through.
but I think to bring it back to what can we do? I do think that we as cartoonists. So I'm talking to people primarily as cartoonists. Everyone else find your own way. We need to focus on connecting to other people. I don't think the answer is going to be finding another sort of company who's going to employ us. I think we've got to, as they say on Comic Lab, own and control your own work.
Yep.
And then just find other ways of finding other people who are going to like, what you do. And I think you're amazing at doing that. I learn a lot from you, although I'm not going to post as often as you on Substack.
I will shout out, by the way, to Brad and Dave. That's a great, if anyone is interested, Comic Lab podcast, really great. Very good resource. Tony Malakowski said, we evolved as cooperative social animals who could pass on knowledge. It is what we do best. But we're susceptible to things that isolate us and reduce our knowledge acquisition and communication of ideas. So it's evolutionarily speaking, it is different. By the way, I wanted to show Maggie, I do have this above my drawing board. Thank you for this. I really do appreciate it. I don't know if I ever showed you that. So if you would indulge me, I would love to draw with you for the next 15 minutes or so. Is this possible?
Who knows? Because I don't usually draw and talk at the same time. So either I'll be talking, you'll be drawing, or vice versa.
Okay. All right. Well, either way, I do want to. I don't want to see you draw because I want to see the tools you're using. I want to see. I haven't actually drawn.
Okay, I should show you. All right. So this hang on, is how I'm trying to do this. Okay. So
amazing.
I've got like board games.
Love that.
Yeah, stacked up. My laptop. Oh boy, I was experimenting. It's kind of shaky. Okay, I don't know. This
is like, do you remember Norm Hetherington? For anyone who grew up in Australia, there was a show called Mr. Squiggle, and he used to have a kids kind of send in.
I can see you. I don't know whether you can see me. Right.
I can see you. Yes, you can. He used to have kids send in a scribble like this, and then he would be a puppet with a pencil for a nose, and he would turn the scribble into like a flamingo or an elephant, or like he'd turn it into something. It was one of the greatest shows that ran for decades. And the thing that I learned later on when I met him is that he was doing it all upside down, which is why every time you saw the thing, you're like, what is that? And then they'd say upside down, and then they'd turn it around and you'd see that it was an elephant or something. It's because he was hanging over the top of the page. The puppeteer was at the top. So he was hanging over the top of the page, drawing it the right way up. And then they would flip it and it would reveal what it was. I think that is one of the greatest shows, most ingenious shows ever made.
Okay. You're going to have to tell me because I cannot see what I'm doing. So
you're currently upside down is what I can see. However.
Well, that's all right because I can't, because I'd have to put it behind me. I'd have to get a parrot at this point. Yes.
Olaf is asking, are there no pictures of the interview? What interview are you referring to, Olaf?
It'll have to be upside down. And that's good. It'll be good. Right. I actually need to work on my newsletter, which goes out on a Thursday.
Did you pick Thursday for any particular reason? I always wonder about that.
Because I like to preserve Fridays, because I often like to skive off. And then
nice.
Thursday, I'm just basically doing key lining. Okay, so I'm just like roughing out if you just in case you're like, God, that she really is bad at drawing. What I do is I work on a rough bit of paper, and then I do most of my work with this amazing stuff called layout paper. And right, so let's see. I don't know. Layout paper.
Okay.
Yeah. And Noodler's ink in I
love Noodler's. It's great.
Yeah. Well, I used to do a dip pen with Indian ink for probably about 15 years, and more I've just gone, that is just crazy. That takes me too long. I've had a few big spills, so now I just work with the Noodlers. So and they've a fountain pen basically that doesn't get sort of jammed up. So yeah. Anyway, and oh God, I can see. Oh, this is great. I can actually see on my laptop. Okay.
You can?
Yeah. Sorry, folks.
Oh, you can see your screen and laptop. So you're technically upside down right now.
I am upside down. Oh, right. Yeah. There's a lag. There's a massive lag on my laptop. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. But
I think that's just the stream.
You can see, no, that's fine. As long as, even though it's upside down, that's fine. That's good enough because, then people can assume it's a lot better when it's the right way around. even if that's not the case. Good.
So, I love your the drawings that you do of robots in your cartooning in the age of AI. I mean, as well as you do it in other things as well. But I think they're actually a little too friendly.
Oh yes, definitely, because I thought about that, and you put up the banner, the initial banner of what looks like a far more sinister robot, and then I thought about it and thought, no, because the way they're getting traction is by just allowing people to do all these cute. Look at this lovely cute thing. Look at the cute thing. Don't think about all the like the data centers being put into poor areas and taking all the energy and the water and putting up people's bills. No, look at the cute things. Look at the cute thing.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Like, Sora video. Yes, you can make your friends look ridiculous on Sora video. Look at that. Look at the cute thing, and it's all look at the cute thing. And meanwhile, they're just stealing everything. They're stealing,
they're distracting
job.
you. They're waving their hand in one direction and distracting you in the other direction. Yeah. It's a tale as old as time, I guess. I mean, I don't know.
Is it though?
Particularly new.
I don't know that late stage capitalism is a tale as old as time. I do think, we have our own sort of special kind of hell right now. But there's more to life than money, which is lucky because I'm a cartoonist.
I'm putting that on my wall, Alex. That's so good. That's hilarious. There's one book that I really enjoyed. It was called Company of One. And I don't know if you ever read it. It's about a Canadian fellow who was I think he was a software engineer at one point. He was out surfing with an accountant friend of his who he was like, I think he was on vacation or something, but the accountant friend was out surfing. They're like, how do you have so much time to do all these like leisure activities? How do you have so much time to surf and hang out and travel with your family and do all these things? And the accountant friend, the CPA, was like, well, because I found my enough. And he's like, what are you talking about your enough? He's like, well, I figured out what my number is. My number to budget for, which is how much money I need to make to pay my rent, to have an emergency fund, to go on one holiday a year, and to cover an emergency like medical thing. And then that's it. And then stop earning, stop having this bottomless, endless earning. And he would adjust it with inflation. But every year he'd work for maybe 9 months of the year and then hit his number. And sometimes it'd take 10 months, sometimes 11, sometimes 6 if he had a good year. But he'd hit that number and just stop and then just live. And he said it was the best thing he ever did because he found his enough,
Yeah. Unfortunately, I haven't quite got to enough, so I have to keep working. Although I think like most cartoonists, I will, die at the drawing table, hopefully, not soon. But I would like to just do the jobs I want to do. In fact, I'd just like to do, my little newsletter and my books. That would be really great. But yeah, back to the enough thing. I think that's the problem. That's the problem we're in with, Bezos and Zuckerberg and Musk. They just don't know what's enough, and we need more people. Well, even Bill Gates, he can't give it away fast enough. But actually, I saw a lovely video, and please don't let it be AI. But I saw a video yesterday with Willem Dafoe. Have you seen this?
I did see this. Yeah, explain it for people.
Do you think it's AI?
Do you want to explain it for people? I don't know if it's AI. Actually, my mind isn't made up on this one.
Yeah, so I'm hoping it's real because according to this video, maybe the story's real and the video isn't. Who knows? But he just decided that he had enough, and then he would give everything away to charity, and that he'd just go and live in Italy. And he's got like one suit to wear for awards things, and the rest of the time he just sort of schleps around in whatever's comfortable, which is that's the way you should be, isn't it?
Well, yeah, if you're a minimalist, but also if you're not sort of completely bound by hedonic adaptation. I mean, the problem with the keeping up with the Joneses sort of level hedonic adaptation thing is where, your lifestyle increases commensurate with your income. So, as soon as you start making more, you start buying more expensive things, you start trying to keep up with the people in your, income bracket.
I think, it's the keeping up with the Joneses that's the problem there. It's because I see this with some people I know. I'm not going to, give too many clues. But because they are surrounded by people who have a lot of money and buy a lot of, what they see as nice things, they feel that they have to, buy a lot of nice things. And yet, I mean, if you hang around with cartoonists, you do not have that problem. Unless they've got a rich partner, you basically
Right. Yeah.
you just, hey, you get a good job come in. It means you get to eat out at a nice place. You don't like go and buy yourself like a Porsche or something, right? You don't,
Right.
you definitely don't get yourself something that requires monthly payments, beyond a certain amount. In
Living
fact,
beyond your means, right?
yes, exactly. I mean, I hate being in debt in
Same.
any way, so yes, enough. Yeah, enough is
Yeah.
important.
It's a decent philosophy. I've always tried to live by it, to have a number in mind or have a point in mind such that when I hit it, I have the discipline to stop and just enjoy the spoils of whatever. That's the luxury. That's the goal anyway. It's a luxurious thing
So
to have, but
what age would you? Oh, I'm assuming you wouldn't completely retire, but
No.
what age would you like to sort of say, right, now I'm just doing, the work I like doing?
I was thinking about this recently because I'm 41 and I sort of had a realization that at this point, they say, you work in your 20s, your 30s, you work your hardest in your 20s, 30s, 40s so that you can enjoy your 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s.
Oh my God, I'm working hardest now. Oh, geez.
Yeah, I know, but but then everyone I speak to who is in their, 50, 60, 70s is still like, no, God, I'm still, like you said, I'm still busy. I don't have time. I'm still trying to keep up, make ends meet. And it does, I keep thinking, well, what's the alternative? And the alternative is being happy. I mean, not to get too Zen or Buddhist about any of it, but just being happy with what is and how you are now, and with the work you're doing and being grateful to be able to even do that. But then also the sense that, and this might sound a bit maudlin, it's the if not now, when you could die tomorrow, kind of thing.
Oh,
It's
yeah. Memento mori.
Memento mori is what I'm thinking
Yeah.
of. The stoic virtue. Memento mori
Yeah.
is and the last time meditation, which is you never know. You never really get to know, with the exception of, say, like a terminal diagnosis, you never really get to know the last time you pet your dog, you do the dishes, you have a shower, you draw a picture. You don't really get to know what the last time that is necessarily. And if you kind of live with that in the back of your head, short of it being, a bit, it's some people might think it a bit morbid and depressing. It's actually quite the opposite. It really brings you into the present.
So last week, we had a bit of, we've had an amazing weather actually, but we had particularly nice weather last week.
Right.
And I've got an old school friend who's here because, well, we're both obviously being old school friends, dealing with our parents'
Right.
age and transition and so on. And so she was back from. So she normally lives in. Well, she splits her time between Mexico and Perth. Right.
Okay. Perth, Australia, or Perth, Scotland?
Perth in Australia, two places that are really, really difficult to get to. So she had to come back here in a hurry. But the nice thing for me is that we got to spend loads of time together. I've got masses of work on at the moment, which is good.
Good.
But I but it was just such a nice day, and I thought, screw this. I'm just going to call up my friend and see if she wants to go to the beach. And we went to the beach. We had the best time. And then I had to work. I had to work like a crazy thing till about midnight, which I don't normally do. But but we're both going. We could be like those people in the home, who were just sort of shuffling around, and that unfortunately, as we know, from when we lost James Kemsley.
Yeah,
it could happen at any time. So you just, like you say, you don't know when's going to be the last time to do anything, and that can be a really positive thing, and enable you to really, carpe diem, if we're going to use another bit of Latin. So
yeah, I mean, that is it is and it's a positive note to sort of end on here, because I do think that for all of the doom and gloom and the consternation around, and uncertainty around what's happening with the authoritarian tendencies in the United States and some of the other movements around Europe and the UK, and some of the worries about humans versus artificial intelligence. As you say, it's fake. It's in the name, artificial. We do have this one thing that is ineffable, and it's consciousness. It's this sense that we're alive. We can't quite tell you why, but it's different than what it is like to be anything else. So if there was, no one, it is a gift. And if you really think of it that way, it is easier to pull yourself out of the doldrums, as it were. And a spontaneous trip to the beach is a fantastic way to enjoy the freedom that you have to just be alive, the gift that it is to be and have, be able-bodied and willing to just go to the beach.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I love your cartoon, by the way. For anyone who can't read it, it says, I could create a much more professional video.
I didn't even talk about that. This is going to be my next Substack.
Love it.
Is I've been wanting to get into video for years because I know it's important, because I know, unfortunately, that's what the algorithm likes, right? But also that's what we like. I like watching little fun videos or even little videos. Like at the moment, I watch loads of videos about van life, about...
I love that, yeah.
Just gardening, obviously, but about living a more simple life and about fitting things into a really tiny place, because I'm going to have to do that. And I thought, I love short videos, but I'm not going to spend. I'm not going to spend more time doing video when I don't have enough time to draw or to write. So then I discovered that you can just get all your little video clips, upload to Instagram. Instagram then sort of suggests some music. You put the music on, then you use like this Snap Insta thing, download the video, and then you can upload it to YouTube. Done.
Sure. I mean, I'm gonna have this talk that we're having today. I'm gonna have it automatically clipped up. Substack automatically transcribes and clips up pieces of it that might be of interest to people that you can post to social. And that saves me having to do anything, really. So if there's one good use of AI that I really enjoy, it's that it automatically transcribes it and does the video clips.
I feel really bad that you're spending this time talking to me when really you've got loads of work to do, So
I do actually have loads of work to do. So I think we should definitely do this again, because we could go for another 3 hours on multiple topics.
Yes. If I could do a podcast with any cartoonist, there's a few people, you would definitely be up there, and top 5 people to do a podcast with. But it's another one of those things that I go, I don't want to do that work. I do not want
same. I wouldn't want to start another podcast. It's too much work.
Brad and Dave, just they probably. Hey, I would hope, because it's too much work.
Yeah. And anyone who's joined us after I mentioned it last, if you haven't already, please subscribe to Alex's Substack. You can actually do it. You should be able to do it by just tapping subscribe next to her name on the video here. But if you are watching the replay, go to Alex Hallatt's Substack, Illustrated Epistle, but also Cartooning in the Age of AI.
Yeah, or you can just go to my website. So I have one of those old-fashioned website things, which is alexhallatt.com, and you can spell Hallatt any way you like.
just make it as creative as possible. It'll still show up with your name for now.
I've got 4 different spellings.
Brilliant. Amazing. That's so good that you have all those domains. Excellent.
It's been brilliant to talk to you, Jason. Thank you for taking the time. I feel like we could talk all day, but then neither of us would get work done, because I can't draw. I'm going to have to redraw this. I've got this like... It's tiny, or maybe, you know what? I'll just put it in the newsletter anyway.
Just put it in the newsletter.
I'll see comments I get saying, "Wow, when did you get such a tiny body?"
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you, Alex. You're the best. I'm definitely going to have you back on to talk more. But thank you, everyone who's tuning in. Everyone in the chat seems to have absolutely loved this one. So thank you. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Alex on Substack, and I'll see you next time. So, thanks, Alex. I'll see you soon.
Bye.